Joining us for this webinar today. My name is Mariah Bolden. I am a software system specialist here, and I'll be walking you through today's demo of the system and answering some questions you may have about our system here as well. So to go over today's agenda, today's webinar is going to be about 45 minutes here. I'll offer a quick overview of the Aladtec, and then I'll walk you through a system that we have built out here as well. So with this, if you have any questions during the webinar, you'll see that in that GoToWebinar box, there is a questions section available, and feel free to post those in there as well. When I'm finished up with that demo there, I'll answer as many questions as I can. And of course, if there's some Dave in the background here, I might be tackling those as we talk through as well. So what is Aladtec? We are a cloud-based scheduling and workforce management software platform. Our system is designed to handle the unique staffing habits of EMS and other public safety agencies. Everyone in our organization here is based in River Falls, Wisconsin, which is about 30 minutes east of the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. Our company started back in 2002 as a web-based scheduling system for a local ambulance service. Since this time frame, Aladtec has grown to host more than 2,300 agencies with 145,000 users across the US and Canada. Our EMS customers range from small rural departments with 30 members to large urban agencies with hundreds of paramedics, EMTs, as well as multiple stations. Everything done here in Aladtec is done in-house, from engineering and configuration to sales and support. We're all in the same location in River Falls, Wisconsin. So there is no extra cost for any training or support that happens with the Aladtec system, and it is all done with people mentioned here in-house, and we're here to help you out with that training and support as long as you're a customer here at Aladtec. You will have 24 access to this system anytime via desktop, tablet, or smartphone. Everything that happens within your system updates instantly, so users always have the most current version of schedules and any other content within the system here as well. As I mentioned earlier, this team here in River Falls, Wisconsin is our support team, and they're going to be more than happy to help you out with any questions you may run into as a member or an organization that works with the Aladtec system. With Aladtec, we can create schedules as unique as your department. As long as you can describe the pattern, we can help you replicate it as a schedule and a rotation within your system. Next thing I'll be doing here is giving you a brief overview of Aladtec's features and some of the benefits that will help you determine whether our system is a good fit for your organization. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, I do have an Aladtec system pulled up here, and this is the one that I'm going to use to walk through today, showing you some of the features that are available within our Aladtec system. Like I said, as I'm going through this, you're more than welcome to post any questions you might have in that chat room, and we'll address those as they come up or even get some answered at the end of the presentation here as well. Going through this system, I actually want to start with this page that we're looking at right here, and this is going to be the home page of any Aladtec system. This will be the very first thing that you see as soon as you log into the system, and of course can be customized to your organization. This center section right here can be updated so you can show any information you want your team to see whenever they log into the Aladtec system. To customize what's visible on this home page, you're very easily able to update that information by hovering over Home at the top of the screen here and clicking on the Home Page Editor. From here, you'll see that you get a word style editor where you can really pick and choose what information your team will see when they log into the system. There is another half to the home page of the system here, and that's the dashboard available here on the right-hand side. Right now, I'm looking at the system from the point of view of an administrator, so I'm able to see all of the administrative tasks that need to be tackled within the system, as well as an additional set of information. So from this point of view, as an admin, you'll be able to see if there's any trades that need to be processed, sign-ups, time off, If there's anything you need to process as an admin, you can see and actually click on and process this information right from here as well. There are other areas of the system you're able to process all of these requests, and I will make sure to touch on that more later too. Past that, you'll be able to see all of your own upcoming shifts, and you do have the option of tracking any licenses or certifications within your system, and you'll be able to quickly see any that are expired or expiring shortly right on the home page as well. Past that, you'll be able to see any events that might be related to your organization that you have posted on your schedule, as well as if there's any trades that need to be tackled. The information that shows up on this dashboard is going to be custom for each individual who logs into the system based on their permissions. So if I look from the point of view of my buddy Clifford here, who is not an administrator in the system, their point of view is quite a bit different. They don't see any of those administrative tasks, but they do see their own upcoming shifts, events that are relevant to them, and if anyone's hoping to trade shifts with them. So it's really going to be an at a glance what's happening in the system that's important to me as the logged in member. The next page that I wanted to pull up to here is going to be the member database. Clicking members at the top of the screen will right away pull me to a view with the users' names listed on the left-hand side, and then information you can track for those users will be across the top. On the home page of the system, we saw that there were some users with expired information and some users with information expiring shortly. That will also be very evident here looking at the member database. Anything already expired will show up in this maroon type color, in red, and anything expiring shortly will be in this maroon type color here as well, where anything that's good past that 30-day mark we currently have set up is going to be in a black font, so it's something you know does not need to be tackled at this point in time. Of course, you are able to export any of the information you do choose to pull into the member database. As you can see, we have some information for certifications showing up here, but you really can pull in any set of information you might want to. Anything from general account information for the users, emergency contacts, general information, whatever you want to have on file for your team, you're more than welcome to have here within the Aladtec system in custom fields that are created within your system. I do want to pull up to one specific user's profile to quickly talk through how all of these fields are going to tie in to each individual user. For that, I'm going to hover over Carlos's name here and select Edit Member to pull up one user's profile. At the top of the page, of course, you'll see the information for first name, last name, login, and password. But past that, I do like to touch some on the access levels available within our system as well. So each system is going to come pre-populated with two very basic access levels, the top level administrator and the member. Top level administrator is going to be the overreaching kind of power to change everything and anything you need within the Aladtec system here. Top level administrators will be able to process trades, time off, edit the member database, modify the schedule. They'll really be able to change everything within the system. Whereas members is going to be kind of the opposite of that. It's the very basic permissions within the system. They can log in, see their schedules, request signups, request trades, but those are all going to be requests that will still need to be processed by an administrator. As I noted, those are the two very basic permissions within the system, and you can completely customize that information and add in additional levels of permissions. So if you need an access level that's a scheduler, someone who maybe can modify the schedule but cannot update the member database or modify the home page, that can be created. You really can narrow down the permissions and create as many different levels as you need for as many different users that may have different sets of permissions at your organization. Past that is the messaging information for our system. This is where users will be able to set up to receive text messages and/or emails from within the Aladtec system here. For that, users can put in their mobile number, select their carrier, and add in an email or multiple email addresses wherever they would like to receive notifications. Listed beneath that is some of the different types of notifications that can come from within the system. For those general users of the system, the favorites tend to be the sign-up request and the time-off request. That's going to allow the users to choose if they want an email and/or text message letting them know when their sign up to fill a shift has been approved or denied, or if their time off request has been approved or denied. Of course, users will always have access to log into the system from any device to check this information for themselves, but sometimes it's nice to have that information sent out to you rather than having to go seek that information out yourself as well. Beyond that is the work qualifications, where you get to state who has permissions to work on which schedules and which positions on those schedules at your organization. As we can see here, Carlos is qualified to work every vehicle available here and fill any position within those vehicles too. All of the schedules and positions here will be completely customized to the needs for your organization, whether it's by station, team, vehicle, however you schedule your staff, these schedules, and of course the positions beneath them are going to be able to be customized for your organization. These qualifications here are also going to ensure that users are not accidentally being put into positions that they're not qualified for. For example, if the paramedic position was not selected here for Carlos, Carlos would not accidentally be able to trade into a paramedic position or be placed there by an administrator because they're not marked as qualified to fill that position. Beyond the information for work qualifications is the time off accrual section. You do have the option of tracking time off accruals within the system here, and of course can set up those different profiles depending on the rules that your organization sets for accruals. This information will show not only when the user is going to accrue, but each individual will also be able to see the hours available in their accrual bank at that point, as well as the history associated with their accrual bank. So they'll be able to see when they gained hours, when they used hours, even if they had approved time off on the calendar and that was canceled by an administrator, that user would be able to see those hours automatically fall back into their bank there as well. Beyond the information for time off accrual is everything that I was saying can be completely customized to whatever you want to have tracked within your Aladtec system. These fields here are just quick examples we have tossed in for today's demonstration, but of course this information can be very easily modified by any administrator within your system by hovering over members at the top of the screen and clicking on the option for Member Database Configurator. Once this is pulled up, you'll see we get an outline of what we are just seeing on Carlos's profile, as well as a list of fields available here on the left-hand side of the screen. If you want to add a field in, all you need to do is choose the field type that you need here on the left-hand side, click and hold on that option, and drag and drop it wherever it might need to be. So if you do need a copy of a state ID for each individual, you can drag and drop that attachment field in, and as soon as you hit save at the bottom, you'll be able to attach documents to that field for every user at your organization. And of course, you can remove any fields that become unnecessary just by hovering over the field, clicking the trash bin, and confirming that you want to pull that out as well. Another feature I do want to note about the member database here is the ability to send out notifications. We try to make communication very easy within the Aladtec system, and with that, we do have an open notification option available within the member database. You can use the checkboxes to the left-hand side of users' names to choose who you want to send an alert out to, or just click the one at the top to send an alert to everybody. Once you select the option to send message, you'll get the choice to send an email and a text, just an email, just a text. From there, you can type out the message that you want to send to your team. And as soon as you hit send group message, the selected users are going to receive that notification in the format you had chosen up above as well. Any information you do choose to put into the member database here, we know is your information, and we want to make sure you have full access to that. With that being said, anything pulled up here, you'll always have the options to print this information or export it as a CSV file, and that'll open up for you in Excel or Google Sheets, OneDrive, wherever else you might be processing that information as well. We have talked a lot about the administrative point of view within the system here, so I did want to pull up a little bit more from a general user point of view to show you the page that'll be affecting the general users in your system the most. So with that, I'll pull up to the point of view of a general user and pull up to the page called the My Schedule page. The My Schedule page here is going to be kind of the one-stop shop where those general users within the system will be able to tackle everything that they need related to their own schedule. They're able to see all of their own upcoming shifts here in blue. And when clicking on those upcoming shifts, they'll have the options to either request trades or request time off. When requesting a trade, we do have two options available within our system here. And of course, either or both of these options can be turned off depending on the rules for your specific organization. The two options we have available are giveaways and swaps. Giveaways are going to be kind of that open-ended trade where a user cannot work their shift and they're just hoping for someone else to take that shift without any payback planned at this point. Swaps, on the other hand, are going to be shift for shift. You give me this shift, I give you that shift. Both ends of that are figured out before it goes to an administrator for approval. And of course, you can have rules associated with those as well. So for example, if you require that all trades be paid back within the same pay period, the swap will allow you to have that rule associated with it. When a user goes to give away a shift, they can choose if they want to send it to everybody who's qualified to take that specific shift, or if Clifford here already spoke with Colleen, they know Colleen's taking the shift for them, they can choose to send that out to that one specific individual as well. As I noted, users can also click on those upcoming shifts and request time off from here as well. When requesting time off, if accrual banks are being used, users will be able to see how many hours are available in their accrual bank, how many hours a request would use, and what they would be at if that accrual or time off request was approved by an administrator as well. Admins will also have access to this information, so we'll be able to easily see if users have hours available in their bank for that time off request. From there, when users select Request Time Off, it will show that request as pending, and the user will still show as responsible for working their shift until that time off is approved by an administrator within the system. You'll see that this page that we're looking at right here has options submitted for availability. A lot of organizations do choose to build their schedule based on when users submit when they're available, unavailable, or prefer to work. To use that option within our system here, users can either hover over a specific day and select Edit Availability, or click the option here on the left-hand side to edit availability. We do currently have the options available for available, prefer, and unavailable. And once again, same as with trades, any of those options can be turned off depending on what your organization specifically needs. Users have the option of clicking on any days that they want to mark their availability for, setting the time frame, and choosing the type they'd like to add. They do also have the option of setting up something that repeats. So, for example, if Clifford here knows that they're available 12 hours every Saturday for the foreseeable future, they can set that up to automatically repeat every Saturday for whatever time frame they need added in there as well. If you prefer users tell you specifically what shifts they want to work rather than just submitting availability, that's when you would use more of our open shifts feature available here as well. With those, it'll show those users specifically what shifts need to be filled, and from there, they can click on that upcoming shift and sign up to request to fill that shift. Once again, we'll see that green A there, letting us know that it's pending the approval of an administrator, and as soon as that's approved by an admin, that will turn blue here, showing that that user is responsible for working that shift. If you do have an organization where it's first come, first serve, that administrative approval option can be turned off so that as soon as a user clicks sign up for a shift, it does turn blue and the user knows that they are immediately responsible for that shift as well. Another feature that will be available here on the My Schedule page is this Share My Schedule option. This one is pretty popular with people who might be part-time members, or maybe they have shared family calendars with doctor's appointments and baseball games. This allows them to take the information from their Aladtec schedule, click Get Link here, and right away they'll have a link and instructions for how to take their Aladtec schedule information and bring it into their personal Google, Apple, Outlook, or any other personal calendar that they might be using there as well, so that they can see their work schedule side by side with anything else they have going on in life. Now that we talked through tackling some of the things showing up here on the member side, I want to talk through information on how the administrators of the system are going to tackle and process this information as well. With that, I'm going to pull back over to our administrative view and pull over to the general schedule view as well. This view that we're looking at right here is going to be the monthly calendar view of the schedule, showing you everything happening for the full organization for a month's worth of time. You do have 8 different calendar views available, and you're not stuck using just the monthly calendar view, so you're always more than welcome to pick and choose which view is going to be the best view for you. With every view of the system there, you'll always have this edit option available at the top of the page that will allow you to narrow down the information that you're seeing. Clicking on Edit will let you pick and choose what you need to see. So if you just need to see the ALS and BLS trucks at this point, you can check just those 2 boxes, hit Apply, and your view will be narrowed down to just those specific schedules so you can see what's important to you at any given point. There's a bunch of different colors and labels on this page, so I want to make sure to talk through those as well. Any trades on your calendar are going to show up for you in green, letting you know who's working for who, the time frame they traded, and you'll also be able to see these green arrows next to the user shift so you can easily point out who's working that day due to a trade. Any time off on the calendar will show up in orange, letting you know who's on time off, the type of time off that they're on as well. Open positions on the calendar are going to show up for you in purple, with the position title rather than the user's name, and the time frame highlighted in purple as well. If you have any users requesting to fill that open position on the calendar, those signups will also show down below in purple, once again with that green A, letting us know that it's pending the approval of an administrator. This red exclamation point is going to let you know if you're below your minimum staffing levels on any day, and those minimum staffing levels can be customized per day of the week as well as per time of day. So if that does fluctuate at all, it can very easily be updated within our system. Any events you want listed on the calendar are going to show up down below in tan, so users can easily see that information and know what's happening on any given day. You'll see we do have these post-it notes showing up on some days here. Those are kind of like sticky notes that you'd put on a physical calendar. Reminders you want to get out to your team that you want them to be able to see from anywhere so they know what to expect coming in for that day. When there's open positions available on your calendar, you will have this blue envelope at the top of the page that will allow you to send out an alert saying that you need coverage for a shift. So if we click this blue envelope for the ALS truck here, there's a couple of things you can do at this point. Number one, if you want to send out an alert to everybody who's qualified to fill this spot, just so you can get somebody working there, all you need to do is select this position here and hit send on the right-hand side. The reason for that is because this tool in the middle here is going to look at that information in the member database, and it's going to send a pre-populated email as well as a text message with all of the shift information to all of your users who are qualified to work the ALS truck, qualified to work that paramedic position, who aren't already working at that time, and who aren't on time off. Of course, you can narrow that down further if you want to, for example, send it to just your part-time members. You can uncheck the full-time box and hit send so just your part-timers receive those notifications. However, if you do have a rotating list that you typically use, and you want to make sure that all of these open opportunities are sent out with that rotating list, you can set up those rotational profiles based on whatever criteria you have. If it's based on seniority, fewest overtime hours, last opportunity for overtime, whatever rules you might have, we should be able to get notification profiles set up for you so that it correctly rotates through your team, making sure that they receive that notification when it's their turn to take that shift and moving on to the next person if they do not take that shift. But once you hit send here, those notifications are going to go out by text message and email. And this is actually one of the very few types of notifications that users cannot turn off for themselves. This notification type is automatically turned on for both text message and email, and if it is to be turned off for a user, it needs to be turned off by an administrator because we understand that when you send this alert out, you want to make sure your users are receiving those notices. But once you hit send, those users are able to jump into your system and request to fill that shift, where you'll get those pending signups. To process that information, you can either click on the shift here and approve or deny right from here, or pull up to the page called the hourly editor. You can access that by either hovering over schedules and clicking hourly editor, or if you know the day you want to tackle, you can hover over that specific shift, select edit schedule, and that'll pull you to the hourly editor for that shift. From this page, you can pull in additional sets of information to see how you want to approve that. Right here, I can see the signups showing for the members, as well as any individuals that submitted themselves as available. And down at the bottom are going to be anyone who is already scheduled, unavailable, or who is on time off for this time frame as well. Let's say you need to pull in information for seniority to make the decision on who's going to receive a shift. You can click Edit up at the top of the screen here and choose to pull in additional information, the same as any other view of the schedule. In this case, I do want to pull in the information for date hired so I can see who the most senior member is who's requesting to fill that shift and make my decision based on that information. After checking that box and selecting Apply, I'll be able to see that date hired next to the user's names, and I'm also able to see information for how many hours they worked. When choosing those hours, you can see if you want to view it for the month, week, pay period, year, and for now, I'm going to stick with the pay period hours, and once again hit apply so that these hours here are updated. I'll go ahead and approve this sign up here for Cameron, being that they're the only user who signed up for the first half of that shift. And when selecting approve there, that user will immediately be put onto the schedule, and that's going to update the overall calendar view as well. These two users here happen to be tied for both hours worked and date hired, so maybe it's going to be based on who signed up first. With that, every sign up that happens within the system is time and date stamped. I can see that this sign up here for Carmen was on the 19th at 9:44, where the sign up here for Leslie was the 19th at 10:17. Being that Carmen signed up first, I'll go ahead and approve that sign up, and Carmen will be put onto the schedule. You'll see that that other purple sign up disappeared. What'll happen at this point is both Cameron and Carmen will receive a notification letting them know that they did get the shift, whereas the other user who did not receive the shift will immediately get an alert letting them know they did not get the shift as well. So there is no questioning. Users will right away know that information and if they did or did not receive a shift. My minimum staffing levels are now fulfilled, so I also did lose that red exclamation point for the day, telling me that I am at my minimum staffing levels. This page here is also where you as an administrator will make all sorts of little day-to-day changes. So if I go ahead and pull in the medic as well as the ALS truck side by side with that, I'll show you some of the capabilities from this page. Let's say Raymond here ended up calling off sick and you as the admin need to take them off the calendar. If that's the situation, you can hover over the three lines to the left-hand side of Raymond's shift, submit time off on behalf of that user, choose the type as is needed from the drop-down list. We'll go with sick leave here. And once again, as the admin, you'll be able to see the number of hours accrued for that user, how many hours this request would use, and what they would be at if this time off is approved. We understand that sometimes emergencies happen, so our system does allow those accruals to go into the negative, but you as the administrator and the user are going to see in bright red that that's going to be negative before that time off is approved. If you select the approve option here, Raymond will immediately be pulled off that calendar and the position will show as open with the alert to send out coverage and that red exclamation point. Maybe Carmen here said they would be happy to fill ALS instead of BLS if that's what's necessary for your organization. If that's the case, I as the administrator can hover over Carmen's name here, click and hold, and drag and drop Carmen to work in that other position. You'll see that open position then shifts down to the BLS truck here, and you can fill out that alert as well, Or even if Cameron said they're happy to work the full 24, you can click on this purple arrow and drag to extend Cameron's shift to cover the full 24 hours of the day. This page here is where all of those little day-to-day changes take place in the calendar, and if you get a custom demo for your organization, I definitely recommend playing around with this hourly editor page as well. Back over on the schedule view here, we talk through the processes that take place, everything from approving signups, submitting time off, and making those day-to-day changes to the calendar. So the next thing to pull up to is going to be the form section of the Aladtec system. Hovering over forms here on the top screen, you'll be able to see some of the options that I have built into the system at this point. You can put any type of form you currently have on paper within the system here. You'll see this one, for example, is an ambulance mechanical, and just a quick example of some of the capabilities of our system. Once again, these are going to be completely customizable to what you need for your organization, and you can change around any of the information you need by selecting Edit Form Configuration at the top of the page. From here, you'll see that it looks pretty similar to what we were looking at earlier with the Member Database Configurator. Right there will be a list of fields available on the left-hand side of the screen and an outline of the general form in the center section. If you need to add in any fields, you can choose the field type that you need here on the left-hand side. Click and hold, drag and drop that wherever you might need it, title it as you see fit, and customize any options associated with it. You do also have the option of tying notifications to any of the fields available here within the forms. So if you want a notification every time whatever you title this option is submitted, you can set that up that specific groups of individuals or specific users receive a notification each time this form is submitted with the title field marked with new option 2. You'll be able to see a little green bell letting you know any fields that have notifications tied to them, so you can easily see as an administrator what sections are sending out notifications and quickly pull up to see who notifications are being sent to as well. Right here on the right-hand side of the screen, there is a bunch of different sample forms we have available in every system we have here in case you need a base to start with. You can pull up any options that are available within our system, use that as a starting base to add in any additional fields you might need, no matter what the field type may be. Or if you would like to start from scratch and build out a form from a completely blank template, you'll always have the option to design a new form, start from scratch, and drag and drop to build out whatever information you might need available within that form as well. Of course, all of the forms within our system are going to be exportable. All of the information you'll be able to easily pull out of the system. And under our reports section here, you'll see there will be a report listed for every form available within the system. So if you do need to pull up every drug box inventory that was done for the past 2 months, you're easily able to pull up to that report of information, see all of the submissions related to it, and once again, the same as any other option available within our system, you're going to be able to export this information as a CSV file or use the edit option here to customize specifically what you're seeing within this form. We do have other reports available within our system, and there's a couple that I wanted to make sure to talk through today. Some of the reports that are most helpful are going to be the individual member report, and this is the one that those general users of your system will all have access to for their own specific information. So when Clifford here is logged in, when they click reports at the top, they'll be able to access directly their own individual member report, seeing their own shifts, their own availability, their own time off, anything that relates to them, they're able to pull up for themselves for whatever time frame might be appropriate as well. As an administrator, if you need to tackle through seeing the information for all users within your system, you'll most likely end up leaning here on this scheduled time report. This will allow you to see all of the hours worked for your users within whatever time frame you need. You are able to have your pay period listed in here, so all pay periods will be pre-populated out, or can choose to see information monthly, weekly, daily, or a custom range to whatever is going to be appropriate for you. Seeing this information, you're able to break it down into overtime, non-overtime, weekend, weekday, holiday, and you can once again click Edit at the top of the screen to really customize what you're seeing. So if you don't need the information broken into holiday, weekend, and weekday, you can uncheck that box, hit Apply, and your view will be updated to just the information you need to see. Once again, this information can be printed or exported out of the system, so you can take that information wherever else it might need to be. The final report that I wanted to make sure to touch on today is going to be our system log. The system log here is a virtual audit trail of everything and anything that happens within the Aladtec system. Everything from a user logging in and requesting to sign up for an open shift, realizing 2 minutes later they accidentally requested the wrong shift, canceling that and signing up for another one. Every action that happens within your system is going to be fully tracked for you, so you'll always be able to have your thumb on exactly what's happening on your schedule and within your Aladtec system. We do have a storage section available here that's basically 200 gigabytes of storage space for you to add in everything and anything you want to have on file and you want your users to have access to. As you can see here, you can add in folders of information, and you can also restrict who has access to specific folders within your system to make sure users are only seeing documentation that's relevant specifically to them. As I noted earlier, communication is a big part of the Aladtec system, so I want to talk over one more communication tool we have available within our system called the required messages. If I hover over home at the top of the page here, you'll see the option for required messages. As an administrator, you have the ability to create a new message. So if it's a new SOP, you need someone to stop by and see you before the end of their shift, whatever it might be, you can put in that title, put in the message and information that you need down below here. Choose if you want that to go to groups, specific users, or certain levels of permissions. Once you choose who you want that message to go over to and select Save, what'll happen when that user logs into the system from any device is that this message will be the very first thing that they see. It doesn't matter why they logged into this system, they can click on anything that they want here, and it's actually not going to allow them to do anything within the system until they agree that they read and understood that important message you sent over to them. Once they mark that and hit continue, that user can use the system like normal, and you as the administrator have that peace of mind that that user marked that they read and understood that important information you sent over to them at this day and time. This information here, the user marking that they read and understood that, will also be logged in that system log, as well as in this required messages report. Our system does have a discussion section, which is an online forum that you're welcome to post any set of information that you want to be discussed internally at your organization. Any unread messages are going to be pointed out on the homepage of the system, so users will be able to easily see if there's anything they need to see within the discussion section. One final page to touch on the full site here is our help section, which is one we take quite a bit of pride in. Clicking help at the top of the page will right away bring you to a view with videos and documentation to go side by side with it on how to do basically anything you could possibly want to do within the Aladtec system. Although you are more than welcome to watch any of these videos or read any of the documentation, we always like to point out that our Contact Us page here has information to directly contact our support team because we are more than happy to help you out here as well. With that, we are going to be available 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time by email, phone, as well as by online chat if that's more convenient for you as well. We do have a very quick response with our support team here, and of course, if there is an emergency outside of our normally scheduled hours, we do have our emergency number listed down below as well. So that is all that I had here going through the Aladtec system. So let me take a look to see any questions that we might have here about the mobile version. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll go ahead and touch more on that mobile version then as well. All right, so pulling up to the mobile, I'm going to click View Mobile Site down below here and just narrow down that screen so that you can see that mobile version is going to narrow down to whichever device size is being used by a user. From here, users will be able to see their upcoming shifts, trades, open shifts, any time off they have coming. And of course, as an administrator, you'll be able to tackle any of those trades, signups, time off that need to be approved. You can handle all of that information right from here as well. You will have access to see that daily summary of who's working on any given day. As the administrator, you will be able to send out alerts for coverage, add any notes you need to the calendar, and of course see when you're below those minimum staffing levels or read any current notes as well. General users of the system will have access to all of the same capabilities from this My Schedule page that they have from the full site. They can see any of their own upcoming shifts, click on those shifts, request trades, request time off. They can, of course, also see any open shifts that are available on the schedule here and click on and request to sign up for those open shifts right from this page as well. The same capabilities will also be there for availability. So if a user needs to submit their availability, that can be done right from their cell phone too. All forms within the system are also going to be accessible from the mobile version, so they can, right from their cell phone, submit that drug box check of information. So that mobile version is going to have all of the tools available that those general users as well as administrators might need on a quick day-to-day basis. All right, back over to the full site. Let's see other questions. All right, the time clock. Yeah, I can definitely make sure to touch on that. We do have a time clock option available within our system here. Back over in our admin view, you'll see that there is the time clock option. That's an additional feature that's available within our system. And that time clock is going to look like this. It is browser based. It can be set up so that users can clock in from any location and any device, or you can have it locked down so users can only clock in from whatever specific computers you say they should have access to. From there, they'll just choose their name from the drop-down list and type in their password to the Aladtec system to clock in or clock out. The time clock information can be tied to the schedule there as well. So if you know that a user is supposed to be there at 7 and they're clocking in at 7:15, you can have a pop-up come up saying, hey, we see you're clocking in late, what's going on there, so that you as the administrator will have that information on file when users are clocking in or out of your system early or late. There, of course, is reports associated with the time clock within the system as well. So if you need to run a report on those time clock hours, that can be done within the system here too. Okay, well, that looks to be about all we had for general questions of the system here as well. So back over some really quick wrap up things within the system here. Thank you all so much for joining us and taking that look at that high level overview of the Aladtec system. Hopefully we've shown you how Aladtec can help streamline scheduling chores, improve internal communication skills, as well as track certifications, overtime, and any other number of scheduling related tasks. I would be more than happy, or anyone else on my team as a system specialist, to prepare more in-depth demonstration that's unique specifically to your organization. If you have any questions or want to see details, customer reviews, or videos, go ahead and visit us right there at www.aladtec.com or call us at that 888-749-5550 number. Thank you again for joining and have a great rest of your day. I do want to note we have some handouts available within that section there as well, so you're more than welcome to take a look at those handouts listed down below to see an overview or even information from customer profiles. Thank you all again, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.